You just tuned it in.
Global and worldwide.
Hitting you on the one with no delay. Because it's the Fighter's Voice.
The Fighter's Voice.
With your fighting host, Richard Ortiz.
And the formidable co-host,
Mr. Cole Escovedo. Remember, every fighter has a voice.
Fresno, California, we're live here in Mad Production Studios. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of the Fighter's Voice Knockout Podcast. Sitting next to me is my co-host, Mr. Omar Godinez. What's up, my man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Hey, Omar, I got to ask you this, man. What's in your cup, my man? It doesn't look like water.
You know, it's
apple juice?
It's apple juice.
Apple juice with lemon and salt.
That's right.
Apple juice with lemon and salt. My man.
That's right.
You're starting the day off right, huh?
It's hot outside, man.
It is hot outside. But talking about starting the day off right, there's no other network, no other company that starts their boxing off right. Nobody, only the one and only the PVC. And with us tonight, our guests, we have the legendary, we have the beautiful, the talented Brittany Goossen, and also the man behind the voice himself, Baby Ray Flores, as our guest. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi, thank you.
Great to join you guys.
I thought you guys were going to say Ray was beautiful, and I was about to get mad.
Well, Ray has a beautiful commentary, man. And you know what, Ray? I'm going to say this right now. I always compare you to Eminem. And you know why is that? Because when you commentate, bro, you hit your syllables just perfect.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I was taught well, put it that way.
Yeah, you know what? Iron sharpens iron, even in boxing, even behind the microphone.
Oh, I appreciate it. And I honestly am very thankful and appreciative of all the opportunities I've gotten and stuff, and really enjoy your show, what you guys do at the Fighter's Voice.
Thank you. We appreciate that. But you know what? We got to start off with ladies first. Brittany, the last time I had you on the show, it was a special month. It was the month of May, and it was a all-women month of May. And we had the hardest women working in boxing. We had Nancy Rodriguez. We had Kelly Swanson. The list goes on. We had Raging Babe and all the hard-working women in boxing. If I didn't mention them right now, I'll probably get a text later. But you said, Richard, I can't wait for boxing to start.
I couldn't. And May, that feels like so long ago. This quarantine's been forever. Yeah, well, we're back, and we're bringing it, huh? We're on 6 of 6 weeks in a row. And it's been a grind, but honestly, I can't complain yet. I'm so happy to be back.
You know what? As soon as that calendar came out, it was like we were kids in a candy store, Omar, because we looked at it and we circled it. You know, like during Christmas, Ray, you're counting the days as a kid and you're saying, okay, 25 more days. Okay, now there's 24. Now there's 23, and you go and put a check mark on a magazine on something that you want for Christmas. Well, that's what I did, man, because I was a kid in a candy store. I couldn't wait for boxing to start.
You're telling me. I mean, look, this has been a long time. I mean, we are so used to traveling all over the country and going from terrific venue after terrific venue, seeing some incredible fights in front of thousands of fans, the media that is so kind to the boxing industry, people like yourselves that cover our sport, that are the lifeblood of the sport and stuff. And lo and behold, that was taken away from us due to COVID-19. But as you mentioned, when the schedule got announced and I saw that we have 6 straight fights coming our way, I immediately said, thank goodness, thank the man upstairs. We are back. We are rocking. I feel like I belong. You know what I mean? It's like you lose who you are to a degree as a person when you're not able to do what you love. And that's what happened for some time. But thankfully, we're back and we're rocking it better than ever.
Ray wouldn't believe that I kept telling Ray, I was like, Ray, it's another month. Like, and he was like, no, we're going to be back. We're going to be back. And I was like, Ray, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm in the meetings. Like, they said July. And Ray was like, I won't believe it. We're going to be back next week. It's going to happen. Britt, stay positive. It was terrible. So we're both very excited that we have
optimism.
I mean, our schedule is packed.
It is, and it's loaded. And see, Ray's the type of guy where he said, you know what, if a schedule doesn't come out anytime soon, I'm going to start a fight in the parking lot, man. I just miss boxing and combat sports.
I'll announce it in the parking lot.
No, he'll start a fight and he'll announce it. I don't know about Ray. You probably want to be. He won't be starting the fight, like physically, right?
No.
I'm not a fighter, but I do love being on the fight game.
You know, you can put just some of that police caution tape around a few trees and make that your ring. It's all good. You can announce that.
Exactly. Ray, Ray, you do got some fight in you, my man, because I've noticed your reaction right after the Chicago Bears or throw the game away or INT. You're challenging everybody in sight on Twitter, my man, and I'm thinking, okay, Ray, you got this, my man.
Well, put it this way, Rich. I tell you this right now. When it comes to my beloved Chicago Bears, the navy and orange, if you're not wearing my colors, then I am not a fan of yours during that time period. So I get 16 Sundays a year, and I definitely put on my colors, and it is us against the world at that point. So a diehard Chicago Bear fan, I get a little amped up, but at the end of the day, I'm just glad that everyone's safe and sound and we're able to get back to whatever normalcy it can be.
Exactly, and I got to agree with you. You know, I'm on the other side of the pond. You know, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, man, and I'm pretty amped up myself. Every play counts, every flag, every hit, and et cetera. And you know what? Since we're talking about Chicago Bears, you were rocking the legendary Walter Payton, number 34, in a late happy birthday to a baby Ray Flores, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. And Brittany sent me some outstanding donuts for us to enjoy. We have devoured that and now back on the diet, but it was awesome, and thank you guys very much for the birthday wishes.
Absolutely. Brittany, you know what? I remember you made a comment last time you were on the show, and you said, Richard, when boxing starts, there's two things that are going to happen. I'm going to continue to drink wine, or I'm going to continue to drink more wine. Do you remember that comment?
Yeah, I will never, I'm not a quitter.
Exactly. Hey, it just kind of balances everything out.
Jesus liked it. He turned water into wine. He didn't want the party to end. It's fine.
Yes, he did. I won't argue with you there. Yes, he did.
I went to Catholic school. I know these things.
Hey, exactly. That's one of the things that you do remember, huh? That part in the Bible, you do remember that part for sure.
I believe it's in the Bible. Yes, I believe it was drink more wine.
It is, and in Ray's Bible, I believe it was Corona or Modelo. I don't care. Ray, what's your preference, my man?
My preference is a Tito's and water lemon and lime, but if I had to choose from a beer standpoint, give me Modelo. That's my beer of choice. That or an ice cold Sapporo on tap if they got it.
Believe me, this list can go on, guys, for a long time. Ray's not saying no, pretty much.
No, here at the Fighter's Voice, man, we never say no. We find a solution. We find an answer. And speaking of an answer, let's talk about the decisions that came about this Saturday. PVC boxing. I mean, I was intrigued, and I loved Vladimir Hernandez pulling a rabbit out of his hat.
What a story there. And, you know, he actually saw Angulo in the bubble a little bit before, a couple days before they really had to quarantine in there. And he begged for a picture. He said he was a big fan. So it's always fun when that happens, when they're able to fight someone that they grew up watching, and then to beat him, it's got to be crazy feeling.
I mean, he was just honored just to share the ring with him, and
exactly.
And we talked about the opportunity during the quarantine, during the bubble, and there's going to be plenty more Rocky stories available as the phone continues to ring and giving these young fighters and these warriors the opportunity to compete at a high level. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ray, you know what it's like to get an opportunity and make good. I mean, did you have a chance to talk to Vladimir after on a personal level, on a personal note, and find out exactly what his vibe was?
No, I didn't, because, I was in the bubble, and the thing about the bubble is everyone keeps themselves, within 6 feet apart, and it's very much, you're regulated to your room, or even just going into the dining hall once you're cleared and you've tested negative for COVID. So I was in the bubble for a few days, but I didn't necessarily get an opportunity to have conversations. And that's the thing that's changed a little bit when it comes to the sport, when we're in bubbles, is that, the conversations that we're used to having, just casual conversations, don't happen anymore because everyone's keeping their social distancing. I'll say hello to people from afar, but it was a wonderful story. And what I mean by that is that you always have to be ready for an opportunity, especially nowadays, because, you never know where you're going to get that call. Caleb Truex fell ill Thursday into Friday, didn't feel like he had that he was able to fight. Hernandez gets the opportunity, and he makes the most of it. And now he puts himself in a position for another high-profile fight moving forward. So here's the guy who literally he's got the biggest win of his career, and now he has an opportunity. I think he showed great hand speed. I think he showed, the fact that he could take some big punches from Angulo, and now, you know what? He picked up the phone and he made the most of his opportunity. So credit to him for getting the W.
That is a perfect example of stay ready so you don't have to get ready, He went in there and they threw over 2,000 punches in there.
Absolutely.
So what a great...
Absolutely. Ray, I'm going to tell you a quick story about Vladimir. I'm only telling you this because he fought a couple times in Chachansey in Lemoore, California. He got the unanimous decision victory over Tulare own Daniel Alchabalin Valdivia. Now, the other fighters that come in the ring, Ray, the whole team had shirts. The whole corner, they matched. I mean, the fighter, his shorts matched his shoes, etc. And I remember Vladimir, his corner, I mean, their corner shirts didn't match. Vladimir's boxing shoes didn't match with his trunks, but he strapped it on, and those boxing gloves were red. And you know what? That's what he had in his eyes. He just came out like a bull, and he came out with the opportunity that was given to him. He came out in pursuit, and he got that victory in Lemoore, and he got the same victory last Saturday. So talk about being appreciative and making the most of what you have.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's honestly, I have to give credit to not only the fighter, but I have to give credit to the promotion, TGB promotion.
Absolutely.
They did not just call Vladimir Hernandez and say, fly to Mexico. He was in the bubble on Monday, and it was already, in case anything happened, he was ready to go. They made their contract happen. So I think, Tom Brown, I think Brittany, I think the entire PBC staff needs to get more credit for having guys ready, because we have continued since we started on August 1 to put forth 3 quality fights at least on television, whether Showtime or Fox, moving forward FS1 as well. So, I think that the promotion needs to get more credit for having these guys ready and having the foresight to have guys lined up in case anything happens.
You know what, I agree.
That's not even just COVID, that's, like I say, that's my dad's game plan since forever. He's always had a plan B. We're never gonna have to cancel a show. We'll always have a backup plan. So, and that was before COVID days. I know I saw on Twitter someone said that we studied that from another promoter during COVID, and I, 1 a.m. got a little aggressive on some Twitter strangers, but and I shouldn't have done that because it doesn't matter. It speaks for itself if we even think back to the Willie Monroe Jr. Charlo fight. When that didn't pan out, we had Korbov ready to go. He was already on the card, medically cleared, everything. So, that was a couple of years ago. Ray will know. He knows all the dates.
Yeah, it was December of 2018. It was the first Fox show. I believe it was December 21st. At Barclays Center. Willie Monroe pulled out. We did the inaugural press conference a month before. A week later, the fight went south, and then Korobov was immediately put into the position. So it's very much, Richie, if you follow.
No accident, there's always people ready for that. That's a specialty over here that we didn't learn from anyone. Okay, Twitter people.
No.
See, I'll tell you this about BBC and TGB promotions. Like what Lupe Fiasco said, the show goes on.
It does. It does, and it has to go on. And here's the thing, Ray. We got basically a classic of a personality behind the camera and a personality in front of the camera. And both you and Brittany wear different hats. Ray, yourself, you're the personality behind, in front of the camera. And Brittany, we were just talking about with our co-host Omar here, that all the hard work that takes place behind the scenes, nobody really gets to see it. And you were on point, Ray. They need to get more than they're given credit for. And those are having your fighters prepared, having the paperwork ready, and making sure there's an opportunity there for a fighter that's ready to leave everything in the ring.
Completely agree, and it's, it's everyone working hard to make this happen. And you know what, I got to say that the PBC bubble, I've been in it, and it's running so smooth, it's running efficiently, the food is terrific, even though that I don't have to make the weight. But nonetheless, I think that everyone deserves credit for what they've been able to do. It's not easy, guys, to be able to put on an event in the midst of a pandemic, and especially with people coming from all different parts of the country and everything else. And I think that we really need to give credit to the promotion and the BBC as a whole for pushing through, and 6 straight fights and pay-per-view coming up at the end of September, end of October, November. It is just a wonderful time for fight fans. Even though they can't come to the arenas to watch the fights, they can watch home safely on pay-per-view and on our variety of different networks.
Wow. You know what, Omar? We got to give Ray another hat. In front of a ring announcer and commentary, we got to put freaking promoter.
Promoter also.
My gosh.
He's the best. He's the best.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That stuff comes naturally to you, Ray. I mean, when there's, you don't like when you're out in the jungle and you see like a lion or a tiger, man. You bring them here to the city and you try to tame them. You try to train them and tame them. There's no wild microphones out there for Ray. He tames the microphone. He makes it his own. He can teach it to sit, to speak, and even bring him a beer if he needs to.
You know, and I remember first when
I'm just fortunate to learn the business from amazing people that I'm around every single week. So honestly, the credit goes to them.
Exactly.
I put Ray on the spot multiple places to give a speech last minute, and this guy comes up with something. I mean, Ray, that one you did for Deontay that one night in New York.
I was about to ask you that at the dinner table. How did that go?
Brittany can tell the story and stuff, and then I'll extend it and stuff. But Brittany will tell you the story, how it all came about. She put me on the spot last minute.
I sometimes, it's very the road. There's a lot of work, and I'm working, and the only kind of fun I have is whatever we are able to kind of throw in, and a lot of that was pranking Ray for me for some reason. And that night I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go next door to Deontay's dinner, and I was like, oh, but he said you can't come. And Ray was like, why? And I was like, I don't know, you said something about him, he heard about it, I don't really know, but you're not invited. So Ray was like, so you're just gonna ditch me? Or whatever. We got Deontay in on it. Finally, joke was up, Ray was allowed in, but then we put him on the spot and made him give a speech, and Ray, you killed it. I wish I had it on tape, or on my phone. I guess it's not tape anymore.
I heard about that speech. I didn't know the whole story behind it, but I've heard about that. I heard about the speech leading up to this, and I'm thinking, first of all, you tweeted it, Ray. You said the opportunity, you were given the opportunity, and you ran with it.
It
was such a privilege.
Well, it was just, they were coming off of, I think this was in November of 2017. Yeah. It was the rematch with Berman Stavern.
Yes.
And Wilder had knocked out Stavern in just ridiculous fashion, as he does with his opponents. And we were so amped up. I was really pumped. And I knew this dude was really good and great, but this guy's the baddest dude on the planet. I go, line up any heavyweight in the world, he can take him on, he's going to smash him. And then for him to ask me, or for me to be put on the spot to give the congratulations speech to the heavyweight champion of the world. He was the heavyweight champion of the world for 5 years.
Yeah.
You know how hard that is? And to have that honor, it was one of the top highlights that I've ever had in my career and stuff. So some memories that I've shared alongside the TGB and the BGB crew. So it's been awesome. I tell you that without a doubt. The 5 years of BBC has been unbelievable.
Let me put you both on the spot right now. We talked about heavyweights in the last, and that held the belt for 5 years. I'm thinking Joe Louis, I'm thinking Larry Holmes. In your era, Brittany, because you had no idea. You had to put the Barbie doll down and pick up the boxing glove as soon as you put the bottle down. So you were born into this. But I got to ask you, what modern day heavyweight today stands out, and what heavyweight in the past stands out for you?
Well, my favorite. Well, I gotta say now, and I know the last fight wasn't great, but I'm loyal, diehard Deontay fan forever. The guy's been great. He's given us some great fights, and he's a good person, and I enjoy hanging out with him. And that really, I'm biased on it. But growing up, I was a big Mike Tyson.
There you go.
Fan. And we we promoted a fight of his. I want to say it was in 5th or 6th grade when he fought Francois Botha, the MGM.
Yeah, the White Buffalo.
Yeah, And I remember my brothers and I were in the daycare at MGM with Francois, both as kids, and it was always like, oh, we kind of want your dad to lose, but it was like a weird
But do you want to play?
but,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so definitely, I mean, how Mike like entered the ring and everything, it was just so, he was a badass, and I liked that.
You know, he was just intimidating, and he was able to rewrite history and just do things his way. I mean, everybody afterwards wanted to wear the all black, the boxing shoes,
Trunks.
with no socks. And I remember, Ray, I mean, I wanted to know, I was thinking, man, what brand are those shoes? And I would like try to get a close up on them. And I think to this day, were they Pony? I couldn't figure out what brand they were. They were black on black. Do you happen to know, Ray, what brand they were?
Rich, to be honest, I don't. All I remember is just the black trunks with the white towel over that was cut out, and he came out. And I'll tell you a quick story about Tyson, because I respect the heck out of Tyson. Joe Tessitore, when we used to do Friday night fights, and Joe Tessitore said he was at the debut when Mike Tyson debuted in upstate New York, and he said when Tyson walked out of the dressing room, he's never felt the feeling of violence in his life.
Oh, wow.
He goes, he felt violence as Tyson was walking to the ring. That's what this guy was, and that's why I get so excited watching Deontay Wilder fight, because when you watch Deontay Wilder fight, he's a showman, number one, but number two, he is a violent human being inside that ring.
He's a scary man.
You're going to see him knock somebody out, or he's going to leave himself vulnerable, and then he's going to get clipped, but he's going to keep coming. That's what I love about Wilder. He is must-see TV. People ask me all the time, who's the one fighter you love watching? I go, and this is that he's only had one loss in his career. I go, hands down, it's Deontay Wilder, because, I mean, I hate to talk about, pro wrestling, but as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says, the most electrifying fighter in the world today, in my opinion, hands down, win or lose, is Deontay Wilder. You never know what this guy's capable of. When he lands that rocket right hand, forget about it.
Good night.
He comes over the top, but it just reminds me of that potent right hand of Tommy the Hitman Hearns. Once he touches you, you're snoring already.
So true. I mean, I agree. Brittany saw a lot of fights when she was growing up, and I watched them on TV, but to me, Deontay Wilder is must-see TV all the time.
You know what? He's the only guy that'll change your life with one punch, man. I mean, he can hit a clock, and it'll add hours to it, and you'll get a bigger paycheck. I mean, the man is powerful, man.
And he's naturally powerful.
Yes,
He's not a heavy guy.
And a lot of people don't remember, Ray, that he started boxing late in his life. He's just so athletic and powerful and strong and committed.
Well, he started boxing because his daughter had spina bifida, and she had that issue and stuff, and he's like, you know what, let me go in the boxing gym. And then he became a bronze medalist, so people want to say, oh, well, he's not fundamentally sound. Well, I don't know of anybody in boxing that is not fundamentally sound and wins a bronze medal in the Olympics.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and rephrase that. A bronze medal in the Olympics. What my problem is, Rich, when it comes to combat sports, especially boxing, if you lose one time, people are ready to write you off. Look at Julian Williams. People ready to write him off. He came back and won 2 titles, beat Jarrett Hurd. Look at Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring lost twice, came back, won the world title. People need to understand losing one time is okay in boxing. That
especially
happens.
heavyweights.
Exactly. I agree with you. And Ray, you were very animated, but you were to the point the very next day. They wanted to write off the Bronze Bomber. They wanted to write him off. It was one defeat. He's been on the other side of the podium many, many times in his career, and you cannot judge a man by one defeat. I mean, give him a chance. He's a human being. He has the character to come back. One thing that he does have, and I appreciate that, he's been complete silent on social media, which tells me look for a focus, a determined, a sold out to the sport, completely stronger than ever Deontay Wilder when he comes back into the ring, and I'm looking forward to that trilogy in December.
Brittany can expound on it because she deals with him a lot more personally than what I do. But I tell you, from everything that I hear, the overtures, he is going to be a very dangerous human being, even more dangerous than what he was before the second fight with Fury.
Brittany, I want to hear about that. Omar, I'm excited because Brittany's the go-to person to get Deontay Wilder on the only voice that matters, the fighter's voice.
That's exciting. That's
It is exciting.
Deontay.
Oh man,
Hats
off.
And you were talking about the I don't know. It was
Yeah, I think we have to figure out everything with his fight and that, and then I'll work on it. I'll get it. We can get it done.
Hey, you heard it only on the Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And Brittany is simply knocking out the competition, Omar.
That's right.
That's why she's bad at what she does. Brittany, see, that's why you have all this responsibility, and that's why you wear many hats, because no woman can do what you do. I mean, you've been getting compliment after compliment from Kelly Swanson, from Nancy, from Premier Boxing. Actually, you know what? Nancy has something today. She said, ask them both, what's the bubble like going inside a PBC for all the Fox shows? And also ask Brittany, what does it take to be such a great promoter and to be as tough as you are? That's from Nancy Rodriguez from Supreme Boxing.
You know, Nancy's helping me out, actually. I needed, like, a trustworthy person, and I knew she could handle the guys in the same fashion I would. So she's actually been in the bubble back to back to back, and she's just so, like, pleasant. She's much nicer than me. She's still in, like, a good, nice mood. She's killing it. So... yeah, is that Ray laughing?
Ray laughs.
If I were there for 6 weeks, I'd be a real nightmare right now. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess, I don't know if I'm tough. It's just, I like to get shit, or I'd say shit. I like to get stuff done.
Well,
I like to make sure it's done well.
You know, and I'm going to tell you a funny story right here. And here's a quick little plug. According to promoter Rick Merigan from Fresno, California, he says, Richard, she's tough as hell. I like her stuff. I say hello, and I get nothing. And he goes, ask her that with a chuckle.
Oh, we're in person?
No. He'll comment on your stuff, but you know, Rick can be a pretty good hard ass himself. So you know, I just had to throw that out there because you know what, iron sharpens iron, and when you're focused and you do the things that you need to do, Brittany, everything else is secondary. Your job is to stay focused and concentrated, so us, the fans, can benefit from these great matchups.
Look, I'll go on Instagram. If it's Instagram or Facebook, I go on quick. I post something quick, and then I'm off. I'm not really unless I'm like stalking someone, unless I got a mission. But otherwise, I'm not like really. I'm bad. I know. I admit that I'm bad. I say it all the time. The people say, "Why don't you read your DMs?" I literally, I haven't.
Well, you know what? You show us love. You show us love constantly. You return the text messages.
With getting back, but I'll eventually get there. So I'm sorry. I'm not that mean all the time.
Now he was having fun with it. It was a joke because he put LOL and then he kind of put like that little.
He doesn't want me to start finding him on Instagram. Ray knows. I'll get deep. It'll be the worst.
Yeah, you will. And then Ray, I have another bout to introduce you both in. Ray. Ray, I got to ask you this, man. Growing up, a lot of people were hitting the baseball, throwing the football, chasing the girls, and I know you still do all three. Well, no, let me say, no disrespect. You found the one that's working for you. When did you pick up the mic and say, you know what, I love what I'm doing, and I'm good, and I know I'm going to make a career out of this, because you just happen to have that voice, and you hit every syllable, man, just perfect.
Well, I appreciate it. I knew early on that I didn't have much athletic ability in terms of being an NBA player or getting into baseball, anything like that. So when I started off doing local television when I was in high school, probably 16 years old. So I was very fortunate to do local access television, and then went to college, did collegiate radio, started off on the independent circuit doing local MMA fights, local boxing club shows, and it just built from there. So that's where my journey got started. So I've been at it for quite some time, and I always believe that it's better to start off small, and that way you can make mistakes, you can grow, you can develop, because when you get to this level, guys, you better be ready, because this is a world-class level, and this is a level that so many people work hard for, so many people sweat for, so many people put everything towards. So when you're at this level, you better bring it, you better be ready to compete and, stay your ground, because if not, you're not going to last long in this business. So I was very fortunate to get opportunities growing up in the Chicagoland area, working with local promoters and local events on local television.
Damn, bro, you gave me goosebumps. I'm going to ask you, put me in, coach. I'm ready to go. I got to ask you this, Ray. It doesn't get any bigger or better than this. We're talking about the press conference, the whole tour, Conor McGregor, Floyd Money Mayweather. I got to know, my man, what was it like from the first time you picked up the mic to introduce them both to the last time you did introducing them before the big fight?
Well, I tell you what, I owe a lot of people thank yous. I owe the Swanson Communications crew. I owe Tom Brown and Brittany. I owe the late great, it was his birthday today, God rest his soul, Skip Davis, who was an integral part of PBC. I owe the entire PBC crew, the Showtime crew as well. When the tour got announced and they told me I was going to be on the tour, I literally did not announce it until I was in my hotel room at Staples Center getting ready to walk over to start rehearsals and stuff. It was unbelievable. 4 cities in 4 days, over 50,000 fans. I believe Brittany was there in LA, and then she did Brooklyn, right, Britt? Didn't you do Brooklyn too?
Yes.
So Brittany did Brooklyn, LA, and Brooklyn. I did 4 cities in 4 days. It was unbelievable. The 2 biggest names in the history of combat sports going at it nonstop. What stood out to me, though, guys, is the work ethic. These 2 guys are pay-per-view stars, and they have cemented their legacy. They have made money for 5 or 6 generations, but they constantly worked hard and interviewed and were asking. They answered every question from every media member in every single city, and I'm like, these guys don't even have to do this, but they're doing it because they love it. That is an example for the younger generation to say that the grind doesn't stop. So when I'm watching these guys grind and these guys work hard, I'm like, you know what? I need to give even that much more effort. But it was unbelievable, especially being in London when they were first in a boxing ring together, having Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor on my side. It was at that point that I said, you know what? The man upstairs is good, and I've actually finally made it in this business.
Exactly. There you are. I tell you, Ray, Brittany, I went up there just because I had to be a part of that whole week. I was up there that whole week in Las Vegas. You had to breathe it. You had to feel it because it was just historical. I mean, it was just awesome. It was a powerful moment. And just knowing that these 2 were going to share the ring, history in the making, I just had to be a part of it, man. And I tell you, the Irish party like no other, Brittany. I'm telling you this.
I know.
It was awesome.
What do you for the Frampton Santa Cruz fight? They were out and wild.
Oh, I bet.
But you know what, Brittany? I'm glad you brought that up because I'm looking at some of the calendar here, and I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead to October 24th. I'm skipping the Charlo brothers right now, and I want to go to October 24th. Davis and Santa Cruz. What an intriguing matchup. What's your take, and what are both keys to success, and how many different chapters do you see taking place in that fight?
Man, that's been a fight I've been looking forward to for a while. And we all know I'm very, very team Santa Cruz. And I like Gervonta, and I'm good with him, but Leo is my guy. I mean, he's just I'm sure you've met Leo over the years.
Yes, very nice guy.
Very nice guy, and he's just so good. Every fight he gives, he's brawling, he's in it, and he gives a lot of heart. And I'm hoping he pulls it off. And I think he can. Right? Did you disagree with me on this when we talked about it? Or
no, I don't disagree. Here's the thing: being a broadcaster, I can't really say who I think is going to win, but I understand why Gervonta's the favorite. But Leo Santa Cruz, you cannot count out. I think this is the toughest test for both men. You look at it, so.
Yeah, I really do think they're going to bring out the best in each other.
I think it's going to be closer than what people think because on paper, Ray, I'm sure you've heard Gervonta Davis is just supposed to blow him out of the ring. But when I said chapters, there's the second half to the fight. If he doesn't get him out in the first 6, I'm looking for Santa Cruz personally to take him into deep waters. What's your take on that, Brittany?
Never count out Leo. Never count out Leo. And look, Gervonta's going to have to make weight, and
there you go.
There's those outside factors too. Leo stays ready. He's in that gym constantly. He's always ready to go. That does matter once you're in the ring. So I'm hoping things like that. I think it's going to be a great fight, though, and I probably won't be able to watch. I'll probably be in the back. Right.
I was working, and those are the many hats. Those are the many hats we talked about before the show, Omar.
Well, that's when I physically can't watch because I'm too invested. But yeah, a lot of times I do miss it because I'm running around in the back too.
I know. Omar, before I get to this next one, we were talking off camera about the Charlo brothers, and you said, Richard, they're going at it. And what's popped in my mind, I said, you know what? Are we really going there? I want you to share with us what we talked about, man. I mean, the possibility, the first time ever in history if it can ever happen. And this could be a movie, so to speak.
Well, it's on social media, so I don't know how real it is.
Okay.
But it does sound like they are having a few issues with each other.
Brothers can do that.
Brothers can do that for sure, especially twin brothers, I guess.
And brothers can also fight.
They can also fight. They're only 6 pounds away from each other, but I don't know how that's going to go.
Yes. How much is media and how much is that'll never happen, Ray?
Well, put it this way, guys. You mentioned it. Brothers fight and they argue. These guys are never going to fight each other. It's all internet fodder, so it needs to end. I mean, look, they're both big personalities. That's what people love. You either love them or you hate them. And they represent Houston so well down there. They're so proud of where they're from.
Yeah.
And they're both alpha males. They're both world champions. They both want to have their moment in the sun. But like brothers, they just happen to argue when it comes to social media. I work with my brother sometimes. I argue with him. We get into spats. It happens. Brittany has a sister and brothers and stuff. I'm sure she, it's not all roses and everything else all the time.
And it's the same thing. Same thing with my family. I can say whatever I want about my brother, but if anyone else did,
exactly.
or anyone said anything about me, my brothers are going to kill you. So it's like, they can fight. That's sibling problems. But if anyone else talked about each other, the other one, they wouldn't go for that. So it's not going to happen. Never.
Hey, these are the questions that come in, and I addressed the question, and you guys just clarified it big time.
But I'll tell you what, I am looking forward to both of their fights. It's going to be fantastic.
Those are going to be good fights. Huh?
Great fights.
Absolutely. Ray, Brittany, I got to ask you, you know who I'm looking forward to? The signing and the debut of Regis Prograis. Talk to us about him inside the ring. Is he going to compete at 140? I know he's had many offers to go to 147. I talked to him personally. He said, Rich, I'm not ready to go up there just yet unless, there's a couple dollar bills there. But I do have my heart set on the 140-pound titles once again.
Rich, I love Regis Prograis coming into the PBC fold. I actually did a couple of his fights when he beat Julius Ndongo in outside of we were in Montana or right by Mount Rushmore. He won his fight there. I did a fight or two of his in the World Boxing Super Series. Regis Prograis is the guy that at 32 years of age, he's a young 32.
Yes, he is.
This guy's ready to make a big statement. He had literally a very close fight against Josh Taylor that I think if you wanted to see could Regis Prograis deal with adversity, well, there was your answer. Now coming into the PBC fold with the umbrella and the promotional power that PBC has, along with the variety of different networks, literally, I think Regis Prograis is ready to break into being a star and a crossover star in the sport of boxing. He has a fan-friendly style.
Yes,
the guy loves his home city of New Orleans and trains now in Houston. This guy has power. He's intelligent. Good boxing skill. Plus, he wants to fight Maurice Hooker. That fight was supposed to take place, and with another network, it fell by the wayside. Now, both guys are within the PBC umbrella. Hopefully, we will see that fight at some point. Prograis is ready. There's a reason why he comes out, and he made the move to be with PBC. And, guys, I cannot wait because the kid can fight.
Yes, he can. I'm so fired up. I'm excited. And also, if you follow him, not only does he fight the human being, he's fighting crocodiles, alligators, swimming with great white sharks. He'll put gloves on, and I'll plug Big Five Sporting Goods and just start sparring in the middle of the store, jumping off buildings and cliffs. The man lives on the edge. He lives like it's his last day on earth, and he enjoys life.
I gotta follow him.
Not only that, but the opportunities are endless at PBC. If he wants to move up to welterweight, he's got the entire welterweight division there.
All the monsters are there at
Everybody's there.
PBC.
Everyone is there.
Yep.
I think we need to get the fighter's voice down to PVC, cover more events, because all the monsters are there at the 147-pound division. I mean, it's hot in there. Bring your AC with you, because there's fire inside that ring.
You imagine him fighting a Danny Garcia or a Keith Thurman or anything. You imagine fighting those guys. It'll be great. Iron sharpens iron, and Ray, you said it best as a color commentary. You got to bring your A game. You got to be willing to endure. You got to be ready, and these are what these fighters are doing because they're very competitive. You know damn well these other fighters know Regis is coming in here, so they're going to sharpen up their tools as well, as if to say, hey, you're not taking my spot, my limelight, or my opportunities. So it's awesome. Great signing by PVC. They did their homework on this one. They worked on it, and now they have not just a star, another star with the rest of their stars. Because there's no stars falling for PVC. Absolutely.
No, none at all, man. Damn, that sounds like I should run for mayor or something, man.
I love it.
I know. I'm going to send that part to Callie Swanson, man. Maybe she'll send me a PVC T-shirt or something, man. But no, I do got to say this. Guys, I got some questions and some comments for you guys, and I'll let you both share it right now.
Okay.
First of all, said, Richard, this isn't a question. I just want to give praise to the great job that Brittany does at TGB. Second to none promotions, man. And PBS shows, they love Baby Ray. They just love him. And this is coming from Sean Gibbons, the promoter, the president of Manny Productions, man. Manny Pacquiao Productions. And he wants to give you guys praise, man.
Gibbons.
Viva Sean Gibbons. There you go. Viva Woody. Viva Woody.
Viva Woody. We love Woody, too.
Yes, exactly. You know, I told this story before, Ray. One time I did see you at the bar at the MGM Grand, and you know who was bartending? Believe it or not, Woody was behind the bar. That little Monito was serving drinks to everybody, man. I mean, he just was. He's a fan favorite.
Those were one of those long fight weeks in Las Vegas, guys. And you know what? I miss them so much. Brittany, I know she misses them as well. We all miss them, guys. I was talking to my girlfriend and like, man, I've only been to Vegas one time this year. What is going on, man? I mean, we're used to doing 4 or 5 big events in Las Vegas. I miss it so much.
Exactly, and you know what? Vegas misses you, my man. This next question and this comment is for both of you. This is from Cutman Mike Rodriguez. He said, Richard, they're really both good friends of mine, and they're good for the business. They both wear multiple hats and are responsible for a lot of the stuff during fight week and behind the scenes. They do a great job for the network and just great human beings in general. And during this difficult circumstance, they continue to grind and continue to be positive. I might have misquoted you, Mike, because some of the handwriting was there. But, hey, iron sharpens iron. When you're around good people, you look good, you play good, you feel good, and you are good. So that's from the Cutman Mike Rodriguez to both of you.
Tell Mike I still want to go on a detective chase with him. I want to go see a homicide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Rich, I've known Mike for a long time. Him and his son Andrew, they do a wonderful job. I think Mike is. I mean, they're so good at what they do. Mike wears different hats as well. He's a cut man and also has the mindset and the ability to train fighters as well. Andrew is coming up as well. I love seeing them work together in different events and stuff like that. I think the Rodriguez family is going to be around the game for a very long time, and I think Mike is one of the top cut men in the world, if not the top cut man in the world. There isn't a cut that I've ever seen Mike deal with that has been too big for him. And you know what? When you have those 45 to 50 seconds, it's not easy to stop a cut, because whether you stop a cut or not, that could be the difference between a fighter winning a fight and a fighter losing a fight. So I think Mike and Andrew need to be given a lot of credit.
I agree with you 100%, and just how they opened up their arms, and we talked to them in Las Vegas, met them in Vegas, and they embraced us like we were brothers and sisters of theirs. Sat down, had dinner with them, not once but twice. Met his sister, his brother-in-law, met Andrew, and Mike is just a class act, hands down. Hands down. I mean, he's like an uncle, like a brother of mine. I mean, just the trust that I have in him, and he's the only one. Check this out, Ray. When everybody starts jockeying and say, "Oh, Rich, you're doing great, you're doing this," Mike will come in and say, "Richard, what you need to do is fix this, this, and this." And those are the things that I enjoy, because that's honesty, and he critiques every single thing that I do, so I'm able to bring my best and have great guests like you two.
That's real love right
good
there.
Good guy, good family.
Yes. Omar, I know you got to ask that question. I know it's itching. You talked about on top of the show about the return of Mike Tyson. I'm going to let you shoot that, man.
Oh, man. Well, she brought up Mike Tyson earlier, so
I
that
know
reminded
she
me of
did.
it again. What are you thinking about the Mike Tyson return, Brittany?
I'm like not big on fighters coming back. It's not one of my, I'm like, you already escaped it. Like, it's someone else's chance now. But I guess it's going to be entertaining and otherwise kind of entertaining worlds at the moment. So, I don't know. I'm still just not big on it. I know I'm going against the grain there, but it's not my thing. I don't want to see it now.
So I definitely should not ask.
You know who agreed with me? My Uncle Joe on the broadcast the other night. He said the same thing they said, who's coming back? Oscar, right? That guy?
Yeah, Oscar De La Hoya. Actually, he was called out, Ray, yesterday on social media, Hector Macho Camacho Jr. called out Oscar De La Hoya as well.
Oh, geez.
There's a throwback name.
Don't want to see that. Don't want to see it.
No,
I'm
see
okay.
that.
Look, who am I to judge how someone can earn a living?
Yeah.
However, Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, Oscar De La Hoya, these guys all had their moment in the sun. Imagine, I like watching every major sport, the NFL, the NBA. Imagine watching the NBA, and we're watching these guys go at it, the young talent like Luka Doncic and Kawhi Leonard, this younger generation blossom and showcase their athletic ability. And then you have Michael Jordan, who is the greatest player of all time. Don't get me started on the LeBron talk, but that's another topic for another day. Imagine Michael Jordan saying, I might come back and play a little bit. I might get back into the pro ranks. It's like, Mike, you've been retired for how long? What's wrong with you? Let these younger cats get their opportunity, their moment in the sun. That's my problem with this entire situation. More people have asked us about Tyson and Roy Jones. It's like they've been over the hill over and over and over again. You know what we got in this world right now in boxing? We got the Deontay Wilders. We have the Tyson Furies. We got Errol Spence. We got Danny Garcia. We got Caleb Plant. We got your Dennis Ugas. We got so much young talent. Enough with the old guys. And you know what? I'm even going to take it a step further and say, look, if the old generation doesn't want to let go, then the younger generation, younger fighters and broadcasters, we got to steamroll them and get them out the way anyway. If you're not bringing your best and not your A game, then get out the way, because the younger generation is here to stay, and that's who needs the attention first and foremost more than anything.
I don't think there's anything else to say after that, right?
Damn! did you hear that?
I heard it.
No, did you hear Ray? Did you hear Ray drop the mic after he was done?
I heard all of it.
Oh my gosh!
That was personal.
Talking about smoke, Ray, only on the Fighter's Voice, my man. Do you get the platform? Do you get the opportunity to be Baby Ray Flores? And we're not talking about you not being professional. We're not talking about you not taking the opportunity. We're not talking about, hey, I got some things off my chest and I can't get them off my chest. But only on the Fighter's Voice. You were asked to come on the show. You came on the show. You answered, you delivered, and you dropped the freaking mic. Baby Ray Flores, my man.
Dropped it.
I get amped up. Ask Brittany. She'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to be around you near the bar when it's a penalty flag against Chicago Bears. Oh my gosh! I mean, can you imagine? He's probably like Waterboy. He just comes and hits the waiter, just bam, takes him out. He gets amped and he's ready to go.
We have to buy him a few Modelos and see
Calm
what
him down a little bit. No, but I like this
We had
side.
some good times.
I like this side.
for sure.
Ray's energy is always like this. It's great.
Hey,
He's from
Really, I've never met anyone who actually loves boxing as much as Ray, and that's saying something, because my whole life was boxing. Ray loves it. He lives it. He knows. He's like Rain Man with details. He will know every single fight date, every single fighter. I mean, he'll be able to tell me where they grew up, what they like to eat for breakfast, everything. It's insane. He knows his craft, that's for sure. I can't remember where we were ever, and Ray will know the venue, to the date, to the time. I mean, it's incredible.
It's been awesome.
no, it really is. Okay, Ray, we're talking about we talked about the welterweight division, how it's just full of monsters. If you could take two fighters out of the Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler division, what two fighters would you take out of there, put them both in a tournament, with the young fighters, what two fighters do you think are able to continue to be successful? It's different eras. What two fighters would you take out of that era?
I would say Sugar Ray Leonard, because Sugar Ray was a boxer puncher, but I don't think Sugar Ray gets enough credit for how much of a devastating puncher he was. This guy was a master, and that's what I love about watching those great fighters, and even watching guys now who are becoming great. Sugar Ray Leonard had the flash, but he had the substance. You hear it about a nice steak. I love steak, guys. You have the sizzle, but what do you have on your plate? Is it satisfactory? Is it good? And with Sugar Ray Leonard, he was the guy. Roberto Duran was another one. This guy was a monster. The mind games that he played with his opponents. I sat next to Sugar Ray Leonard before or during Mayweather McGregor, and I asked him personally, I go, who's the one guy who upset you and got you riled up the most? He goes, hands down, Roberto Duran. He goes, the mind games that he played with me, he goes, I could not stand that guy. To lose to him, it hurt me more than anything. Roberto Duran beat Sugar Ray Leonard when he was at his apex, and Leonard was able to respond and look incredible and everything else. But Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran is who I would put in the mix immediately at 147 if they were still in their primes.
You imagine?
Can you imagine that? I got to ask you this last one right here, because here's my personal preference. How would this fight fare, and would it go the distance, and how would you call it? And we're talking about Sweet Pete Whitaker and Floyd Money Mayweather.
Man, jeez. I would say that Sweet Pea Whitaker was such a great fighter and technician, but I think Floyd, especially as he was going from 26 to 30, 35, Floyd was mean. Floyd was very mean. I mean, look what he did to Canelo Alvarez. He put Canelo Alvarez's head in the front row when he was blasting him with those right hands. So I think Pernell Whitaker was too small, and I think Floyd would use his athletic attributes along with his ring IQ to edge a victory and a split decision over Pernell Whitaker. No disrespect to the late great Pernell Whitaker, may God rest his soul, but I would give Floyd the edge in that one.
He's right, though. Floyd was such a mean guy when he was Pretty Boy. When he put Diego Corrales out, that was his
5 knockdowns against Chico Corrales. He was a bad man. Come on now.
Exactly.
And it didn't stop there. I mean, he had a list of his own.
He did.
And he checked it twice, just like Santa Claus, man. And he checked them twice. And, there was some close fights in his career, but you know what? What he did and what he continues to do, look, we're talking about him right now.
Yep.
I mean, he is definitely one of the greats.
And Brittany's uncle actually trained Diego Corrales for the fight with Jose Luis Castillo. Talk about some family lineage there.
That's right. He'd always come in with those camouflage shorts, too, man. And Diego brought it, too. Nice and slender, had some good pop and great smart IQ. And, I mean, Floyd, when he was young, man, he went through the whole rankings, wiped them all out.
Yep.
He really did. And, a lot of people, they want to hate on his success. People just want to disagree to disagree. You already know this, Ray. I mean, constantly. That's like their job. They're the Twitter quarterback. They're the Twitter trainer. And they're just the Twitter, whatever you want to call them. But when it comes to the know-how and the smarts, leave it to the professionals. Leave it to the pros. It's okay to be opinionated, but when you start literally hating on somebody's career, man, you know what? Look in the mirror first.
Yeah, he loved it, though.
I agree with you.
He
totally.
loved that.
He does. He strives off that
Still
stuff.
loves it.
Oh,
Yeah.
he does. He
Oh, yeah.
does. Hey, earlier we had a picture, Ray, and I'm going to ask you too, Brittany. You were interviewing Dana White early in your career. Brittany, if they asked you to promote an MMA event and they asked you, Ray, to commentate the event, how much preparation would both of you need before you said yes or no?
It'd probably be a quick no from me.
If it didn't conflict with the PBC date, I'd be fine with it. Why not? I mean, as long as it didn't conflict with the PBC date, I'd be okay with it.
And how about you, Brittany? Who's going to be your main event? Who are you going to promote in the MMA world?
I don't know. I honestly, we worked with them, right, Ray? So we worked with them for
Yeah, we worked with them on Mayweather McGregor.
They're like a well-oiled machine. They were great to work with, but I'm good. I'd say no, thank you. Like I'm not trying to add any more on, and I'm not a big fan of MMA, you guys.
Oh, really?
I'm not. I don't like it. I think I'm so, again, here's my loyalty and bias. opinion, but I'm so boxing, and that's all. I don't even have the attention span to watch anything else.
Well, okay.
Yeah, if I had my choice, guys, give me Masvidal and Conor McGregor. That's the fight.
There you go. Well, wait, 170s?
Yeah, I'm 170. Make it happen. They're both savage. They both don't like each other. They both like to punch. They both want to punch a hole through your head. I like it. Sign me up for that one. As long as he doesn't conflict with the PBC date, I'm all for it. Let it happen.
There you go. My man's making it happen. He's energized, and I'd love to hear him call an MMA fight, man. I mean, because he just has that voice. You know what I mean? It just doesn't go away. You know, like that song, Omar, that you hear in the shower, then throughout the whole day you keep singing the chorus part?
You know, you always know when Ray's on mic.
Almost as if to say, down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. I mean, it just sticks with you. You know what I mean? And Ray has that, you know, he just has that voice, man. It kind of just, it grows on you. It's like, ready or not, here I come, and I'm here to deliver, man.
Absolutely.
That's right. It's like, you better be ready. If not, hey, we're going to entertain you and energize you and get you so pumped up. This is why I love being around the fights, because we have so much talent in front of us, guys. Hey, don't forget, Sunday night, Ugas and Abel Ramos, guys, a special Sunday night edition of PBC on Fox. Everyone's doing Labor Day cookout, social distancing stuff. Put on PBC at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time, and enjoy a triple header on Fox as we get ready for Labor Day.
It doesn't get any better than that. The only thing, don't forget, Ray, you got to tell them, get your Modelo, get your steaks, and get your homemade tortillas, and make it happen right.
That is right, my man, and enjoy. I like some guacamole, so throw some guacamole on your steak, too. So let's not get lazy, everybody. It's the holiday. You got to do it up right.
Plans do you have besides watching that amazing card on Sunday? What are you doing on your Monday?
I'm still trying to lay low. We got a lot of shows coming up. I don't want to catch the COVID anywhere accidentally. Right. So I'm kind of still in bubble life, even at home. I'll just be at the office and home. That's it.
Let's talk a little bit about bubble life. Bubble life, personal life. What new game have you picked up? What new hobby have you picked up? On being at home. I mean, are you cleaning up more? Are you watching more TV? Are you reading more, thinking more, or are you like Omar here, drinking more?
No, you know what? I didn't even really drink that much toward the end of quarantine, because I was like, this sucks. Who wants to drink alone? But
yeah.
Once we got back in the swing of fights, I'm so busy that I'm still at the office right now, actually. So by the time I get home, it's late, and I watch a little of my guilty pleasure, Real Housewives kind of stuff, and then I go to bed and do it all over again. And I'm telling you, there's no days off right now. It's just constant 24/7 work. And I am so appreciative, because those days were getting long in quarantine. And I was trying to read, but mostly it was just panic, a lot of panicking, so stressing. But Ray can tell you, getting tested is like not very fun. That swab up the nose is
it's not cool. It's
not cool, and we have to get tested so often, and I just don't. I'm like, it's like the scarlet letter. Like I don't want to be the one that like comes in with it, and they're like, that girl, she doesn't wash her hands, So
yeah,
I'm trying to avoid people. I want to be there for some of these pay-per-views and stuff. So trying to.
Well, you're making some smart moves, and you're thinking about the big picture. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, careful is good, and having a polished walk is even better. A lot of people, they're at beaches right now. I mean, they're acting like Vegas is just regular Vegas. And, you got to take this serious, and you got to take precaution. And, PBC has everything in place. So does Top Ranking. Right. So does Golden Boy. And speaking of a different venue, Jose Ramirez was very successful this Saturday. Ray, what did you think about the victory, and what did you think about his performance over Postal?
So I watched the fight on Sunday, in the morning as I was having my cup of coffee and stuff, since we were doing the fight on Saturday with Erislandy Lara. He was victorious over Greg Vendetti. But I was impressed by Ramirez. Look, Victor Postal's very tough. He's determined. The guy fought Terrence Crawford. Postal, there's a reason why he is among the elite at 140. But Ramirez pulled it out. I could have seen it either way, guys. But look, Ramirez went out, showcased his championship medal. The fight had been postponed a few times. I pay attention to everything. And the one thing I'll tell you is that Ramirez he went ahead and he did what he had to do, and he was in a dogfight against a guy who would probably beat a lesser foe, and Ramirez rose to the challenge. Now, with that being said, I would love to see him fight, of the likes of Regis Prograis. I know he defeated Maurice Hooker, but I know that Hooker has learned a lot since that defeat. Mm-hmm. I think 140 is it's a fun division, it's a young division, and I can't wait to see the rest of these sharks go at it against one another.
Let's make it happen. Who cares about the whole crossing the street thing? Let's do it.
Exactly. Ray, don't just bring the beer to the house and don't open it.
That's right.
I want to know, okay, who do you have in that fight if it takes place?
But the fight between who? Between
Jose Ramirez and Regis Prograis.
I mean, look, I think that Prograis has, sometimes you learn more in a loss than what you do in a victory.
Canelo.
And everyone's going to say right now, I'm going to tell you this right now, Rich, they're going to say, oh, he's towing the company line. No, I'm not. I am giving you my honest opinion. Prograis learned more in that loss to Josh Taylor. Ramirez is a talented fighter, and I understand why people would pick him in that fight. But to me, I think Prograis has more punching power than that of anybody that Ramirez has fought, which is why I give him the edge. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I just want to see the fight. And you know what? Having worked with PBC and TGB Promotions and Top Rank on the fight on February 22nd with Wilder Fury #2, I can tell you that people are getting along. Fans need to understand these crossover fights that you want to see are going to happen, but we're in the middle of a pandemic right now. Let's get our feet back underneath us and get fans back into the arenas, and then you will see some of these blockbuster matchups that fans are coveting.
Ray, we were a co-promote in association with on the Ramirez Postal fight anyway, so it's still happening. But once we get rolling more and everyone's a little bit more comfortable and far along, it will start picking up again, and we'll start the crossovers. Everyone's just demanding something right now in a world that's hard to give it to you.
Let's get past this and get that Spence and Crawford fight too.
That'd be good. That'd be good. And let's not forget about Manny Pacquiao. First. Yeah, let's not. Yeah, exactly.
Let's not overlook him.
No, exactly. Hey, I like Danny Swift Garcia. I mean, I like that left hook. And you got to remember, Ray, when I worked years ago, actually last week, years ago at Walmart, and there was a guy, a gentleman, the tube TVs. He dropped the TV. Well, the TV's protected with foam, the box and everything. And he looked at me like, "Please don't say anything." So I just walked off because it wasn't my job to tell on him or nevertheless. But whoever buys that TV, Ray, I don't care. It's been dropped. It wasn't cracked when they took it out. It's been dropped. It's not made to be dropped. Now, being that said, when you got a man that's thrown out of a car, a human being, and it hits the pavement, he's not made to hit the pavement, roll around, and just be okay. I'm curious to see what's shooken up inside of him. I'm pulling for him, and I know he was able to walk out because of God's grace and God's hand on him, but nevertheless, he was tossed out of a car. Who do you have in this fight?
Look, I would say I understand why, and again, I can't make predictions because I'll be calling the fight for the international audience, but I will say I understand why Errol Spence is the favorite in that fight. But Danny Garcia, I don't think Danny gets enough credit for what he's been able to accomplish over the course of his career. This guy has been at the top of the heap at 140 and 147 for almost 8 years now, if not even that much more. He works so in sync with his father, Angel Garcia. They have a system that works in the city of brotherly love of Philadelphia, and they understand each other, and Danny's always in tip-top shape. He's always ready to fight who's ever put in front of him. I love this fight for a variety of reasons. Errol Spence is a guy who, after his accident, said, you know what? I want the best guy. Don't give me a tune-up fight. And I know that people were saying, hey, how about a tune-up fight? Errol said, no, I don't want a tune-up fight. Give me the baddest dude, or give me my mandatory. Happens to be Danny Garcia. Derek James told me personally that Errol is hitting harder now than what he did before the accident. That's a scary proposition. Danny having come off and beat Ivan Redcatch. The fact that he's been sharp, Errol's coming off of a 14-month layoff, that's what makes this fight so damn compelling. Guys, November 21 cannot get here soon enough, because I think that you're going to get something very special on pay-per-view that very evening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Not only, you know what, are the fans going to see a great fight? They're going to hear commentating like they've never heard it before. They're going to hear blow by blow, play by play, and it's just going to be awesome for as long as it lasts. Omar, who do you have in that fight? I know it's real early, but who are you leaning towards?
You know, Danny's got a hell of a chin, so I see it going all the way, but I do have Spence winning that. I think I think Spence is going to take that by split decision. I mean, Danny's, like I said, he's got a hell of a chin, and he's got 2 losses, against Thurman and Porter.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are world-class people, and he's going to fight another world-class guy in Spence, and I can't wait.
But I'm telling you what, man, I mean, PVC is putting together shark against shark, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not shark against prey. And listen to the matchmaking. Listen to the card that we're getting by PVC, man. I mean, with the exception of Teofimo and Lomachenko, man, I mean, PVC's putting it together right now.
All of it. It's great for us fans during this time, right?
Oh, it is. It's great to be a fan right now, and it's also great to be a boxer right now, guys, because they're getting opportunity. These Rocky stories are happening every single day. They're getting a phone call, and they're staying ready.
Look, opportunity, be ready. As my father always told me, when the phone answers or when your phone's ringing, you answer the phone, because you never know when opportunity is going to knock. And that's what I love about what we're seeing when it comes to this pandemic. The only really positive thing that I'm seeing with this pandemic is we're seeing fighters get opportunities to display their talent, be in shape, be on weight, be ready to go, because you never know when that phone call comes. And if the last name is Brown, first name Tom, you better answer it, because you never know when your life is going to change.
Exactly. You know, Brittany, I mean, can you breathe our way just a little bit, man? I mean, who's getting the next phone call? What's close to being signed, sealed, and delivered? Can you hint a little bit?
No, I can't get in trouble anymore today. It's already a rough.
The day's almost over. Come on.
Well, I tell you what, when you're ready to unleash the crackling, when you're ready just to let go, when you're ready just to open up the floodgates of heaven, get a hold of the Fighter's Voice. Let's make the announcement here. Let's make it happen. Both of you guys, we can go on and on. I appreciate you taking the time, bringing the laughter, the joy, the knowledge, and taking us both to college in this sweet science that we call boxing.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for having us. It was great.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much. And hey, talking about new talent, Richie, what about the fact that Daniel Ramon's making his PBC debut on September 26th? You got Regis Prograis on October 24th. I can't wait for Maurice Hooker making his PBC debut. You know, Deontay Wilder will be back against Tyson Fury. This is a wonderful time for boxing, guys. And again, I'm on this campaign. I know that we are in a political era, but I'm on the campaign for this. I want Plant Benavidez 2021. I'm talking about them running for president and vice president. I want Plant Benavidez 2021 with a sold-out crowd wherever building it is here in the United States. That's the fight that I want at 168, and hopefully that fight will transpire sooner rather than later.
Ray, all I want is your energy. That's all I want.
Well, Ray, you kind of jacked up now. I mean, because you know I'm going to be blowing you up and saying, when are you coming back on the Fighter's Voice? Definitely. I love the energy. I love the play-by-play. And Brittany, I have the utmost respect for your work ethic. And, I mean, talking about just that silent draw, man. I mean, she is all business. As we're talking right now, she's making things happen. She probably has a list of 3 fights that are ready to go, and she can't read them. But I know she's itching just to drop one on the Fighter's Voice very soon.
Multitasking.
Oh, that's what she does.
If I didn't already get in trouble today, guys, I would definitely risk it now.
Well, you know what? I'm going to let both of you go. I appreciate the love, the time, and sharing the Fighter's Voice, for being a part of the Fighter's Voice platform. Remember, this platform is not just for the fighters. It's for the managers. It's for the person fighting cancer. It's for the person trying to fight for their rent, trying to fight through this disease. Remember, Ray, remember, Brittany, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. You guys came on the show. You signed, sealed, delivered, and you knocked it out.
Thank you, guys. Stay safe, and hope to see you guys at the fight soon.
Yeah, let's talk again, you guys.
Okay.
It was fun. Thanks so much.
You got it. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Later, guys.
Thank you.
Later. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Omar, having people like this on the show, man. I mean, it makes me want to go. Usually I was just going to go home and just have a cola and relax. I want to go home and study my play-by-play. I want to go find out who Brittany has and who she's getting ready to unleash and release to all the press and say, hey, guys, look at this matchup right here.
She's definitely got something brewing back
she
there.
Does.
You know she does, but she's probably been sending about 100 texts right now since we've been on the phone.
She does. They're saying, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't tell them.
Dare do it.
Don't tell them.
and then Ray's going, do it, man. Do it so I can let everybody know.
Dude, that was a pleasure.
Oh, it was.
That was a pleasure. They were great people.
Well, I'll tell you this, man, and before we leave right now, the Fighter's Voice, we showcase the best talent, not just here locally in the 559, but we do it global, worldwide, the West Coast, the East Coast. No one is exempt from coming on to the Fighter's Voice, using the platform for what it is, and taking it to the highest level.
Yeah.
I mean, when guests come on our show, they don't just talk about a schedule. They talk about real life. They talk about stories. They talk about being sad, being happy, being glad. There's tears, there's sweat, there's beer, and there's everything here on the Fighter's Voice.
You know, after this, we need to take the show to them.
Absolutely.
Wherever they're at.
Absolutely.
Let's take it on the road.
Absolutely. But talking about taking the show on the road, Omar, tomorrow, Escovedo will be back, the UFC veteran, but I know you're going to be tuned in. I know you're going to have your questions ready because tomorrow we have with us the man, the myth, the living legend who knocked the snot out of the coronavirus himself, and that's Mr. Robert Boxing Academy Garcia, man. I mean, he's going to be on the show taking questions, giving his take, giving predictions, and also I'm going to talk to him about that new signing with the Shark himself, Mr. Rick Merigian.
You know, I'm going to have to sit in on this one.
Oh, man, you're going to have to be a part of it somehow, some way, my man.
Sit over there.
Exactly.
Right
we're going to make it happen. I want to thank everybody that tuned into the Fighter's Voice, all the questionnaires. And, Mike, sorry if I chopped that question up, man. And, hey, we went around it. And Callie Swanson, we talked earlier today about having you come back on the show. And appreciate everybody out there that shares the Fighter's Voice, that's a part of the Fighter's Voice. Hey, man, we can't do it without you guys. And Fresno, California, man, we're here and we're ready to go global and take on that next chapter, Omar.
Absolutely. And this is one of those shows where I didn't want to say anything. I was enjoying too much what they were saying.
Oh, exactly, man.
You gotta give them all the glory.
But you got a Hall of Fame promoter there who was born into boxing, embraced it, and she didn't mention any other sports except for the sweet science of boxing. Nothing. You're talking about Ray. I mean, the guy. Can you imagine me talked in his sleep? He'd call a whole freaking fight in his sleep, like Jason against Michael Myers in his sleep. You know what I mean?
You can just
if he had a nightmare.
You can hear the passion.
Oh yeah, you can.
You can hear the passion in his voice. Yeah, for sure.
Hits every syllable too, man.
Oh yeah, perfect.
He does. Hey, make sure to follow us and share us. www.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. It's a wrap here, Fresno, California. Thumbs up for Richie.
Never down for the count. It's just another wrap. Thanks for listening to the Fighter's Voice Radio Show. Catch us again next week.
Same when, same how.
And always stay connected to the Fighter's Voice on social media. So, on behalf of special guests and the whole crew right here at the Fighter's Voice Radio Show, saying see ya next week, right here on the Fighter's Voice.